It's that time again. Welcome back. Today we're going to be predicting week 10 of the NFL season. Last week I had a winning record, 8-6. Which definitely I've had better weeks. And once again, I keep coming quite close to the tiebreaker. Anyway, we're going to be breaking down the 14 games in week 10 of the NFL season. We're at the halfway point. This is the first game in the second half of the season. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this season plays out. We've got some teams that are still contending for playoff spots and division winners. So, let's get started. The first game is the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Denver Broncos. The Raiders losing because of a failed 2-point conversion right at the end of the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Oh, that was rough. They didn't want a tie. They went for the win and they didn't get it. And the Broncos taking care of business against the Texans, who have the best defense in the AFC South. In terms of points per game, the Broncos are contending for the AFC West with the Raiders. They're in the same division, but the Raiders are definitely a long way. They're 2-6, and the Broncos are 7-2. The Broncos definitely in the hunt for the AFC West title with the Chiefs and the Chargers. And this one is, I don't think the Raiders are going to do too much against the Broncos. It's been played at home, and I think it's the Broncos' game to lose. Following that, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Falcons losing to the Patriots because of a missed extra point right at the end. Falcons, what is it? And losing heartbreakers to the Patriots. And then we have the Colts. Daniel Jones had his worst game of the season against the Steelers. Only going 31 for 50, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and then three fumbles lost and 3 interceptions. But 5 for 5 on 4th down. 6 turnovers compared to just only 2 for the Steelers. 1 fumble and 1 turnover on down. They had more yards, but if you turn the ball over that many times, there's no wonder you're going to lose. But the Colts still have a really good offense. Daniel Jones still put up 342 yards against that Steelers defense. I'm picking the Colts to win. Sorry, Falcons. Maybe you can fly another day. Following that, we have the New York Giants taking on the Chicago Bears. The Giants losing to the San Francisco 49ers last week. I wanted them to win, I really did, because I like Jackson Dart so much. But the Niners they just keep finding ways to win, even though most of their roster is injured. And then the Bears dealt as a shootout against the Cincinnati Bengals. And, wow, I've read here that the Bengals are the first team to score 38 points or more in 2 consecutive games and lose both since the 1966 Giants, when the Bears beat the Bengals 47-42. The Bears have a good offense. defense is a bit shaky, obviously, but their secondary's hurt. I'm picking the Bears. Oops. I believe in the Chicago Bears more than do the Giants. Following that, we have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Miami Dolphins. The Bills, they won at home against the Chiefs in the regular season once again. If only they could do that in the postseason, that would be nice. And the Dolphins, they looked awful against the Ravens last week. Trust me. Anyway. They just fired their GM, I believe, last week as well. And they're 2-7, only above the Jets in their division. Tua went 25 for 40, 261 yards and an interception. While Lamar Jackson on the Ravens offense, 18 for 23, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 119 yards for Henry. Is that Tua's had too many interceptions this year? Is having the name Tua turn the ball over for a reason. And the Bills, they beat the Chiefs. I dropped the pen for 1 second. Josh Allen went 23 for 26, 273 yards and 1 touchdown. Only had 3 incompletions on the night. And also had 2 rushing touchdowns of his own team. I don't think there's any way the Dolphins are going to win. Sorry this is taking so long. I didn't expect to be talking so much about American football. Because I live in the UK and I don't really know as much as some other people do about this sport. Anyway, moving on. Talking of the Ravens, we have the Ravens taking on the Minnesota Vikings. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson was excellent against the Dolphins. And what? Oh, sorry, my phone's being weird. Lamar Jackson. Yeah, 4 touchdowns and then 18 completed passes. The Vikings, they beat the Lions, which I did not see coming. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys didn't either. I remember watching that game, well, tracking the progress of that game on my phone, and it was hard because I was at work, and the Vikings went into Ford Field and beat the Lions. I don't know, I think this one is actually going to be slightly closer than what the stat lines say. The Ravens are favoured to win. 7% people have picked them, but I'm actually going to pick the Minnesota Vikings. JJ McCarthy, 14 for 25, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. If you look at the team stats, you can see that the Vikings put up way more rushing yards. There was 1 turnover on both sides, but the Lions had to punt 1 more time. 4 for 12 on 3rd downs. The Vikings did what they needed to, and they beat the Lions. I'm picking them as the winner here. Oh boy. Following that, we have 2 teams on a bye week last week. The Cleveland Browns taking on the New York Jets. There's not much to say about this one. The Jets are one of the worst teams in the league. And the Browns, their only saving grace is their defense. But given that the Browns' offense is sometimes good, and the Jets' defense has been terrible the whole way, I'm picking the Browns to get a win. I hope I don't regret this. Now, this one will be one of the games of the night. The New England Patriots taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Patriots took care of business against the Atlanta Falcons despite Drake May not having his best game. And the Buccaneers got to enjoy a bye week where Godwin and Bucky Irving are now listed as questionable on the injury report, which is a huge upgrade for that Buccaneers offense, which has been without many of its best weapons the whole year. Just like last year. This one, I don't know. It's similar to the Ravens-Vikings games where I think it could go either way. It could go either way. I'm picking the least popular team, just like I did up there. I'm picking the Patriots to continue their win streak, and oh god, they're back. Following that, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Saints losing to the Rams last week. Things are not going very well for New Orleans. In the NFC South, they are bottom of the NFC South. 1-8. Only 138 points for, 243 points against. That's the most in their division. They're 1-4 at home, and they've lost 4 games in a row. It is rough to be a Saints fan right now. The Panthers, they went into Lambeau Field and they beat the Green Bay Packers last week on a game-winning field goal. And the Panthers, 170 points for, 205 points against. So they have one of the better offenses in the NFC South, but also one of the worst defenses. But maybe that Panthers defense is probably going to be too strong for that Saints offense, which is even worse. I'm picking this. I almost said the Saints. I meant to pick the Panthers to get a win and hopefully extend their win streak to 2 games. And then we have this AFC South showdown between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. The Jaguars, they beat the Las Vegas Raiders last week due to Geno Smith missing let me try that again. Due to Geno Smith failing that 2-point conversion. I think it was Geno, I don't remember. The Texans, yes, it was a rough loss to the Denver Broncos, but they remain the best defense, one of the best defenses in the league. Only 121 points conceded. It's crazy that they scored 168 points and only conceded 121 and a 3-5. They have a losing record despite scoring over 40 more points than they concede. As for Jaguars, they are 5-3 despite having a net point score of -8. 176 points for, 184 points against. Now, this one could go either way. Like, most people right now are leaning towards the Jaguars, but the bookies favour the Texans. And I think, if the Jaguars only scored 176 points. That's not very good, actually. 176 is they're only ahead of the Titans, the Texans, the Raiders, the Browns, and the Jets. in the AFC. While the Texans have 121 points against. If you have a look at the defenses, 121 is actually the fewest points conceded by any team. The Rams are in close second, 127. I'm picking the Texans to get the win. The Jaguars' offense has been inconsistent, and the Texans are going to bounce back from their defeat to the Broncos with a home win against the Jaguars. Following that, we have the NFC West showdown between the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals, they got a shocking win against the Dallas Cowboys last week, where they looked like their Week 1, Week 2 selves. And the Seahawks, well, they dominated the Washington Commanders last week. Anyway, the Seahawks are currently tied for first with the Rams on top of the NFC West. I believe they have the tiebreaker because of conference record at the moment. 231 points scored, 150 points against. While the Cardinals, 180 points scored, 171 points conceded. So the Cardinals actually have a positive points difference of +9. Most of that is from their win over the Cowboys. But the Seahawks are one of the best teams in the NFC, and I'm pretty sure they're going to take down the Cardinals at home, which actually has been their weak point over the last few seasons. They're currently undefeated on the road. They're 2-2 at home, 4-0 on the road, which is crazy. I don't think I should pick them. Next, we have another NFC West showdown between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams took care of business against the New Orleans Saints last week, and Matthew Stafford is looking excellent. He's throwing touchdown passes for fun at this point. And the 49ers, they've already beaten the Rams once this year. And they're finding ways to win even though almost everyone on that team is injured. Let's have a look actually. How bad is the San Francisco? I can't spell. Let's have a look. So, as you can see, Brock Purdy's questionable, Purcell's questionable, Harper's questionable, Brendol's questionable, Williams is out. And just look at that, Fred Warner is out, Nick Bosa is out for the season. I know the 49ers did beat the Rams at SoFi Stadium. Sophie, I still don't know how to pronounce that. I should know because I'm a Rams fan. But this has been played in San Francisco. I don't know. My guts tell me to pick the Rams because they're now a much better team than they were when they lost to the Niners. But I don't know. NFC West, anything can happen. Following that, we had the Detroit Lions taking on the Washington Commanders. The Lions, they lost to the Vikings last week at home. Their first home defeat of the season. And they are now 5-3. 239 points scored, 178 points conceded. They have the best offense in their division in terms of points scored, and only the second best defense behind only the Packers. And of course the Commanders, they're currently on a 4-game losing streak. And they lost. They got blown out by the Seahawks last week. Lions at least kept it competitive against the Vikings. I'm going to pick the Vikings to get the win. We'll see what happens. Then, this game should be fun. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Steelers, they beat the Colts last week and are now 5-3, leading the AFC North by 2 games from the Ravens and the Bengals. The Bengals have played one more game because they haven't had a bye week yet. They are on a bye this week, so we'll see whereabouts they are. The Steelers 202 points for, 195 points against, and have a win streak of 1. The Chargers are 6-3, 215 points scored, 193 points against, and a 2-game win streak. This one is close, and I was back and forth for a lot of it, but I'm picking the Steelers to win. I just think the Steelers beat a better opponent last week because they beat the Colts, whilst the Chargers only beat the Titans. There's not much more to say, and oh my god, 21 minutes. 21 minutes of me speaking, wow, who would want to watch that? Anyway, this last one, will be one of the most exciting games, with the Philadelphia Eagles, taking on the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles enjoyed a bye week last week, are currently in control of the NFC East. They're 6-2. Their closest challenger is the Cowboys for the 3-5-1. 208 points scored, 185 points against. And then the Packers, they lost at home to the Panthers in quite a low-scoring game. Both their losses have been low-scoring games. Lost to the Browns 13-10, and then lost to the Panthers 16-13. So low-scoring games that they're losing. And the Packers are top of the NFC NFC North. Sorry. Not at my best today. With a 5-2-1 record. With 206 points scored, 166 points against. They have a really good defense, but I have some question marks about their team. They won't have Tucker Kraft anymore because he got hurt in that game. I have some questions about the Packers offense. The Eagles, I want to see them do well because they're defending Super Bowl champs, and they're the only thing that stopped the Chiefs from repeating. I'm picking the Eagles, but this one could go either way. As for points scored, I'm picking 33. No, I'm not. 34. It's not going to be as high scoring. And of course, the Eagles beat the Packers in the the wild card round last year. My memory is foggy. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry this dragged on. I did spend a lot of time talking about some of these earlier games. I'm currently at 76-58 record. That is not great. Yeah. There are about 30% of people below me. No, I read it wrong, I think. I don't know. It's been a while since I did statistics at university. I've been working in the petrol station for last year. Well, we're coming up to we're just over 1.5 years working now. I'll see you later. Goodbye for now.